All right, let's get into it. Where I'm standing right now in our backyard on the farm here is in the wettest part of Australia. We literally get meters of rain a year, and we're just coming off the back end of our wet season, and it's been a pretty good one. We've had meters of rain and pretty much close to optimal growing conditions. Overcast, hot days, really humid, and everything's just been growing out of control. So I wanted to take you for a walk now before it literally starts raining again. Looks like it's gonna storm on the backside of that mountain. Yeah, let you know what we've been up to here in the way of how we control the vigor, how we're keeping the grass back, controlling the trees, how quick everything's growing, anything that's fruiting, and yeah, just seeing how far we've come in the last few months. Right, I'll walk you through a couple of these rows here. What you'll notice is, since I did the last video maybe 3 months ago, I am trying to do one once a week now that I'm home, but we put trellising in. So where we live, we get cyclones or hurricanes, basically hundreds and hundreds of kilometers an hour wind that will just smash down your tree, and after years and years of time, such as waiting 5 to 8 years for this durian to get fruit, if we didn't have this trellising and we got that sort of wind, it'd knock it down or snap the tree in half, and all that time's essentially been wasted. So we're using cement posts and high density wires. We're just doing a straight espalier trellis. There's lots of different iterations of this, open chutura and whatnot, but yeah, we're going four wires, weaving the tree through. Oh my God, it's gonna start raining. Let's try and get through it. You're kidding! It's gonna start raining. All right, we've got some pawpaws here. The issue when there's so much vigor and so much rain and heat is that with that, and here comes the rain, to be continued. The wet season. The rain is holding 10, so let's see how much more of a walkthrough we can get through. So yeah, the durians, they're absolutely loving it. We've tried to do some approach grafting, which is basically, we can do another video on that, but we've got a pot with a rootstock or a seedling, and then we're trying to get onto this mature wood, which we know the variety of, basically taking off a little bit of bark on either side, joining them up, leave it 1, 2, 3 months, and then we'll cut it off. And you've got a durian that instead of taking 8, 10, 15 years to get fruit, hopefully 5 or 6. Got some ginger here. We've got a really nice looking chili. The reason we've gone and planted a lot of different varieties of chili because the ones we had in they were too spicy. You couldn't really do much with them. Another durian, a failed approach graft. They're pretty hard to do. We've got some pineapple sage, another herb. We've got some pigeon pea, which the flowers are used for dye and food coloring. And you can also use these leaves in a salad. And where's the pea? And these little peas, yeah, they're a nice one. We're just gonna leave that grow up the trellis. And the pawpaws, these were planted a bit over a year ago, and they're getting a bit high now. We'll have to cut them out. This is a holy basil.
Nailed it.
Another one that's pretty strong. The Vietnamese mint. Vietnamese mints are really good in your broths. If you were gonna do up a rice noodle soup, a pho. And we've just intermittently planted ginger everywhere. The whole like SYNTROPIC idea. We use ginger in a lot of our cooking, and we have a ginger tea every morning. So we've interplanted this durian row, which is the main tree crop, with bananas and pawpaws and a few other things. The bananas, sometimes they'll throw a bunch like directly over this 1.5-year-old durian, and if it fell, it might snap and break it. So what we did was use banana string. Use any sort of twine you want, and then we used another plant over here to secure it and stop it if you did get a bit of strong wind or heavy rain. Wouldn't want that to fall, but this one here is pretty much ready to go. What we do now with this is that we just tie it up with rope and then hang that in the shed just so rats and birds can't get it, and then that'll ripen over the next week or two. We'll just eat it as they ripen. Exhibit A of the chilies I was saying before that are just really hard to work with. They're super, super hot.
Bite just to show us.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, mate. Yeah, blow your head off, mate.
Yeah.
Like I even just breathing that in is spicy. I went over a branch with the mower and I couldn't breathe in that area. Love our chilies, but they're pretty bloody hot. Not everything did exceptionally well. This is a mangosteen seedling that was probably from when it was pulled out of the fruit, maybe 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, close to 4 almost. They're really slow growing. But this one has not fared well for one reason or another, so I wanted to have a look at the root base with you. Well, there's not much in the way of a root base. But yeah, you can see that the roots are pretty much dead. You can just about snap it, it's that dry. So yeah, mangosteens are really, look at that, nothing going on. Really finicky and hard to grow. Any mangosteen farmers out there, you got any hot tips for me? Please let me know. But basically, this is what you want your mangosteen to look like. Under a bit of shade, 50% shade, and that's all the new flushes there. The issue though, everything at this time of the year when it's warm wants to attack new growth, the soft leaf. So we're in the other 7 rows of the orchard now. This is an abiu row, or Puteria comita. It's from South America. Yellow fruit, white flesh. They call it the cream caramel fruit. Hasn't been done well by many people commercially at all because they're easy to bruise. They're very fragile. You basically look at them and they bruise, but a fresh abiu off the tree is one of the best fruits you'll ever have. We've got about a dozen in this row, and as you can see here, like rain and wind has pushed this one over, so I need to get a stake and then go and stand it up. But you'll notice here is all these reshoots are looking for light because they've got an opportunity to look for light. Say if it was like that, you'd only have 1 or 2 of these here, but because that's over, these are trying to compete to be the new leader looking for light. Take all them off because that's using up energy, and I need to do this in the next couple of days. That's taken up energy that should be going into this top leader. And in this row we've intercropped it with different flowering plants. So we're going through, these are really good for mulch. And also we've just started to get flowers on them, which is really nice. We should get fruit on these maybe middle of the year, or yeah, 6 to 12 months time we should start getting fruit. And hopefully we get 2 crops a year. We've also been coming through today and with the gloves, pulling all this sensitive weed out, which is unfortunately taken over. Little spikes all over it, and like I said, we're trying to do things as organic as possible and not come in and constantly spray. Every now and then, a little bit more often than we'd like, we pull this out in the middle, get it all in a big pile, and then when it dries out, burn it. Yeah, see here, you can tell it's sensitive weed that as soon as you touch it, curls up. But yeah, the reality is that we'll go through and we'll do all of our rows, and then you turn around again and it's just like started growing where you started. But that's the nature of it. Should be some flowers. Yeah, here we go. In amongst the labyrinth of devilish pain in the ass sensitive weed, you've got some very beautiful pink heliconias. Might as well pick all of them. They're beautiful, aren't they? Take them over and put them in the cafe over at the pocket. Yeah, so the idea of intercropping these was that you get flowers, but also you can use them for mulch. And with the mulching, what we've started to do is cut it really low and then put them on the side here, because when we mulch, like the first things to overtake is from the edge of your row. So they're going to grow into the middle, taking away a lot of nutrients from your main tree. Yeah, just laying your mulch along the edge. In this other row here, this is our Anona row. So we've got all the different varieties of Anonas. Some are going to go really well here. Some are just a shot in the dark, but we've got soursops, different types of custard apples, alamas, which we've never grown and I'm really excited about. And then as always, intercropped with some chilies, which are going absolutely mad, like a lifetime supply of chili. So what we're gonna do is pick all of these, cut them open, cut them in a few pieces, really thin, and then put them in a dehydrator and then put them in a grinder and make chili powder. Some morning glory in. It's a Southeast Asian veggie, which is pretty much amazing in most dishes. We have it, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 nights a week at the moment with fish. And it's, yeah, just a water spinach. So pretty much can grow all year round. It is a little bit voluntary though. The caterpillars are loving it, but it grows that quick that, you know, it's all good if you you have a little bit of a nature tax to do it organically and have it yourself. We had a bit of a casualty in the last storm. This was one of the yellow pawpaws. That is now mulch. This is one of the yellow pawpaws that's absolutely thriving. You can see it's only, I don't know, a foot or two off the ground. It's got some really nice ones. So yeah, you can have them green, make green papaya salad, wait for them to ripen, and one of the best breakfasts you can have. We did a little bit of planting earlier today. This is an Alama that we just put in the ground, and would have been maybe 4 months ago. We went out fishing, caught a good range of fish, filleted them all up, and then all the frames, we just dug a big hole here, put them in, like 3 or 4 fish frames, buried it up. They've all broken down into really nice, like blood and bone, organic matter. And we've just planted that on there. So as the roots go out, they're gonna hit that, and hopefully this just goes bang to the sky. Little green diamond custard apple. It's the first fruit. It's pretty exciting. I don't know if it'll amount to much, but it's going in the right direction. This is a prime example, this row, of a little bit of the weeding we done this afternoon, mainly sensitive weed and pinto peanut and a few other like broadleaf noxious weeds that are making their way into the orchard. We're getting there. Get the gloves on, get into it. This is the rambutan row, and they're flushing a lot, but everything wants to eat the grow tips. Too much rain, they don't seem to like the grow tips, and also really intense sun and heat and wind the growth tips don't like. So they're having a little bit of a tough start, but they're getting there. They're looking pretty good. In this row, we've pretty much got all different varieties of rambutan. So the benefit of that is that they're all going to flower at certain times and have slightly different flavor profiles and different fruit characteristics. So should have a nice range of different rambutans and extend the season by having different varieties. So we've got a few different types of red ones and a couple of different varieties of yellows. So hopefully within a couple of years, got some fruit to show you. I don't know if you saw a previous episode, but we planted a coca plant. This is the coca plant which is used in, when you've got thousands and thousands of these, use them to make the drug cocaine, which I've only tried once in South America and I wasn't a big fan, but they're a beautiful little shrub, little ornamental, and they've got plenty of seeds on at the moment. But yeah, you can chew these leaves and get your mouth nice and numb if that's what you're into. Very bitter. This is a champidak tree. It's a seedling which is going exceptionally well considering the lack of love that we've given it, but you can see all the lighter leaves on the tips. This is all new growth over the last couple of months. It's honestly just reaching for the sky. It's so vigorous. One thing I'll mention is the pruning of them. I'd say I know a medium amount, but there's still, like I acknowledge my ignorance with it, there's a lot to learn. The basic principles, I want to let as much light into this as possible and airflow, and I'm training the tree essentially to be able to walk in and easily harvest the fruit. Like ideally for us, we don't have a cherry picker. We don't want to get on the back of a truck or trailer to be able to stand up, or a ladder and go and pick fruit up the top. We're going to get less fruit pruning the tree like this, but I think we'll get better quality fruit and it's going to be far better to manage. We've gone through and we've taken branches off in a point where we thought we'd like to access it. So ideally, I want to be able to walk into the tree, check it all out, pick the fruit, bag the fruit, be able to prune further, and yeah, take out anything that's like really scrawny. There's a lot more to it, but yeah, some of the basic principles is just keeping light in, being able to access inside the tree. Really hoping, fingers crossed, either at the end of this year or next year, we get the first flowers and fruit on this champidak. Way you can tell it's a champidak, it's got a hairy leaf. I don't know if you can see closely there, but there's all these little hairs. The fruit is similar looking to that of a jackfruit, only no sap. They're incredibly underrated and, in my opinion, one of the best fruits going. Speaking of underrated fruits, this is a Ross sapote or a yellow sapote or egg fruit, and it is absolutely loaded with fruit. You can't see them that easily because they're the same color as the leaves, but pretty much each branch has got multiple fruit on them. Yeah, this has been, my brother came through maybe, 6 weeks ago and thinned it out, like thinned the fruit out. It had double the amount of fruit. You can see these are the ones that have been taken off. Like the texture of it is very similar to that of egg yolk. So it's yellow and very similar to like a boiled egg yolk, but it tastes more like a caramelized sweet potato. Yeah, they're incredibly underrated, and they'll be a little bit smaller than that of an avocado, and you can actually use them the same as avocado, like cut them open, put them on toast, olive oil, salt, pepper, chili. Fantastic. So really excited to hopefully get these ripening up nicely in the next couple of months. Mangosteen, biggest and best. We've taken the shade off it, and yeah, it's doing pretty well. Still a long way to go though to get fruit. Grab them on the head. And then, you can eat them. Actually, a lot of countries eat grasshoppers, but I won't today. Sorry, mate. Oh, geez. Gonna have to be fertilizer. Definitely worth showing you this. The dragon fruits are pretty much unstoppable this time of the year. A lot of heat, a lot of water. We don't irrigate ours, and we've given them a little bit in the way of fertilizer, but that there is a giant yellow dragon fruit. Very different to the reds or the whites or the purples that you may have seen. Super spiky, but they're really easy to brush off with a rug or a good set of gloves. But see how there's a fair bit of green still on the other side? I'm gonna leave that another week, but I think they'd have one of the highest bricks out of any fruit. They're insanely sweet. Yeah, they're a very sought after dragon fruit, the big yellows. I think there will be one ripe though. Well, let's go try and find one that's ripe. The granadilla's still going well. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful flowers in the world. Got a really, really pretty flower. They're absolutely exquisite. We've upgraded our technique from doing absolutely nothing to try and get quality granadillas to bagging them.
That's the go.
Oh geez, my beard, no. It's a mild tragedy. Yeah, so we bagged up a few. That's a sugar dragon, which are smaller, but really, really, really sweet. Yeah, granadilla. They're just like a big passion fruit. You can see that's, yeah, hasn't pollinated that well, but nothing stung it just yet, so we'll come and bag that later. But yeah, that'll be a nice fruit. So they're not like, you can only grow this. You won't be able to buy, I haven't seen anywhere that you're able to buy one of these because they're like not commercially viable. They're just so small, you don't get that many fruit. But I'm telling you, if you've tried a dragon fruit from a shop and you've gone, oh, they're just not that great, they're not that exciting, have a go at that. They're just electric pink, and that's just one of the most flavorful, sweet fruits that you'll ever have. Better than any lolly you're gonna buy wrapped in bullshit plastic. So floral, so fragrant, that's insane. Here, bro, that's yours.
Yum.
If you live somewhere that does not get frost, plant yourself dragon fruit. So easy to grow. I'll do a dragon fruit video. Comments, tell me what you want to know. I'll tell you everything we know. So we're about to lose light pretty soon. There is plenty more to show you, but that's going to have to wait till next week. We've got Indian runner ducks. We've got different types of chickens. We've had little baby calves drop from the cows in the last week. I think we've got 6 baby calves. Plenty happening over at the cafe as well. We're making our own ice cream. I'd just like to say that it's hard work, but it's extraordinarily rewarding, being able to grow and have your own food. And that's what this channel's all about, being able to create a community, share our knowledge, you guys share with us what you're learning as well.